Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about Saints linebacker DeMario Davis and him saying that he wants to see Drew Brees back for one more year. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. We're actually doing this live on a Friday night, which is very unconventional. Normally, I try to do shows like during the day, especially on a Friday, but been doing a lot of running around on today and just decided I wanted to kind of chill when I got home also. So wanted to do a show, and thank you all for being a part of it. I know I was supposed to have Deuce Wenham of the Who That Confessional on the show today. Like I said, I was running around a little bit. I had to reschedule with him. So we're trying to work on another day where he can actually come on the show. Hopefully sometime next week, we can hear from Deuce Wenham, the host of the Who That Confessional podcast that's available also on YouTube. But let's go ahead and talk about DeMario Davis. Linebacker DeMario Davis, man, we love this guy, right? Man, we love DeMario Davis. DeMario Davis is the guy who I feel like is going to pick up that baton once Drew Brees finally retires and be the unsung leader of the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he already started. If you've been watching Saints pregame huddles, he's the guy that's in the circle also. He started doing that around the time Drew Brees was hurt the first time, sometime last season. And he's basically just kind of took over from there. But DeMario Davis, man, we love him. He's a really good guy. But sometimes I feel like, sometimes I think he's too much of a good guy because he always says the right things, even if it's stuff that we don't want to hear in a Who That Nation. I was watching or listening rather to DeMario Davis on a show, and a question was asked about Drew Brees, and he said that he wants to see Drew Brees come back for another season. He hopes that Drew Brees doesn't hang it up, and he hopes that people around will start saying stuff like Drew Brees is washed up so he can be competitive enough to try to come back one more year. Look, like I said, I love DeMario Davis. I really do. I love DeMario Davis. DeMario Davis is definitely a leader in my eyes, one of my favorite New Orleans Saints. But do I feel like he's right when it comes to him believing that Drew Brees needs to come back one more year?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
Hell no. No. Sorry, DeMario. I'm sorry, my friend, but no, sir. Okay, Drew Brees needs to hang it up. Drew Brees has done some great things in the Who That Nation, for the Who That Nation, for the Saints organization, but all good things must come to an end, man. All good things must come to an end. It is time for Drew Brees to ride off into the sunset. I don't want to see Drew Brees being a shell of himself and we just seeing him out there parading himself around, just being a glorified nostalgia act, because that's what it is right now. Drew Brees has become a nostalgia act. Anybody that's out here lobbying for Drew Brees to come back one more year, people are saying that Drew Brees still got it. You just believe in the nostalgia of Drew Brees, because clearly Drew Brees is not the quarterback that he once was. Can he still play? Can he still be formidable if he was to come back for the 2021 season? Absolutely. But you don't want to be to a point where people are just glad to see you go, okay? You don't want people to have the same type of enthusiasm it was back in 2006 when you got here. You don't want them to have that same type of enthusiasm when it comes to you wanting you to be out the door. So not a big fan of that at all. I'm just going to be real. DeMario, I love you, my friend. But should Drew Brees come back again?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
No, sir. But thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, and I'm going to go ahead and read some of your questions and also your comments. Feel free to put them down in the chat. Do you think Drew Brees needs to come back for another season? All right. Charles says, could we play Brees in the regular season and let James play in the playoffs?
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
Next question. Do you think Drew Brees and perform another season and be an elite top quarterback? Look, Drew Brees is always going to be an elite quarterback because of who he is. But Can he perform at an elite level? Yeah, in spurts. But can he do it throughout the entire whole body of the entire season? No, he cannot. He cannot do it for the entire totality of the season. So, I mean, we see that. We see Drew Brees start off hot, or he might start off lukewarm and then get hot and then start to taper off at the end. So, the level of consistency throughout the season, nah, I can't see that happening. Okay. He might have said that just because Drew is his guy, and if he did publicly slander him, he would get an unnecessary hate. He might just be saying it to say it. Well, look, I really just feel like those players know what Drew Brees' intentions are. They probably just doing it out of respect for him. If you watch the game, the divisional round of the playoffs, and you seen guys all dejected and stuff like that and hurt, it was like on a whole different level. Like it reminded me so much of the 2018 season NFC Championship game when the final press conference of the year, Mark Ingram was in his locker, and you can tell like he had just this level of hurt on his face, and you can kind of tell where he knew that most likely he won't be in the Saints uniform after that season, and he wasn't. And you look at people like Cam Jordan and how dejected he was at the press conference, you can kind of tell that people know that this was their last hurrah with Drew Brees, and that's probably why they took it so hard. Now, to keep up appearances, they feel like it's not their place to say, oh, he's not coming back, because it's not their place to say so. It's up to Drew. But I think they know, man. I think the conversation was had, or they have an idea that he's not coming back. And out of respect for Drew, they're not saying that publicly, but you can tell by the way guys are carrying themselves, the way that they're talking, beating around the bush, saying the politically correct statements. But I don't think he's coming back, and I think they know that. Watching the Pelicans game and looked at my phone, saw my favorite sports show on. I appreciate that, Damian, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. Good luck to the Pelicans tonight. I think Zion Williamson is going to reach history. The fastest player to 1,000 points. I think 44 games for him, 42 for Shaq. So he's number 2 all time for the fastest player to get to 1,000 points. So congratulations to Zion, and Obi has a really good career, man, because we really need that here in New Orleans since Anthony Davis, old sellout tail left. Moving on. Jerry says, I was playing that last night, playing at Bishop Bullwinkle. Monte says it's time to move on. Our defense is good enough, but Drew Brees turns the ball over too much in the playoffs. I agree with that. It's like the tale of 2 quarterbacks or something. You know, you see him 1 minute, he's out there playing lights out all world. And then get to the playoffs, it's like he channels his inner Stoney Case or his inner Danny Wolford or something like that. It's like you don't even believe the quarterback that you watch. He says, TJ, did you hear what DeMario said? He wants you to talk bad about him. You're going to be the reason he comes back. I'm not talking bad about Drew. You know, I said that I believe that Drew is a good quarterback. You know, I said that I think that he's an elite quarterback. But for him to play consistently week in, week out at an elite level, absolutely not. He can come back all he wants to, but that's just a fact. He's not going to be able to play lights out, elite football like he did in the past consistently at the age of 42 years old. Just not happening. I know we want to say that Tom Brady did it all season long, but that's not a fact either. I mean, the NFC Championship game against Green Bay, Tom did everything he could to try to give that game to the Packers, okay? So for me to sit up here and say that Drew Brees is going to do that, then that's just wishful thinking, okay? Because the guy in the Super Bowl didn't even do it, right? So what makes him any different? 42-year-old quarterback, best days up behind him, that's a fact. Can you get consistency at the position? Maybe not turn the ball over at an alarming rate, but at the same time, any Saints fan has to agree. Drew Brees is crippling the team right now as far as like them reaching their full potential. That's a fact. I'm sorry. I mean, no need to sugarcoat this. He is stopping this team from reaching their full potential, because for all those that are saying, oh, TJ, that's not true, why is it that when they have to throw the ball down the field and go long, they got to bring another quarterback in? Why is it that when they have to do certain plays, they got to bring another quarterback in? I mean, come on now. Like, you don't see other teams doing that, and if they do, it might be 1 or 2 plays. But for the majority of the game, you see if they got to have a big time play or a play that extends past 20 yards, they bringing out Taysom Hill or they bringing out Jameis. Something is wrong here. Okay, something is wrong. I love Drew and don't want him to leave, but I feel like as long as Drew is on the field, we will continue to fall short of the Super Bowl. Time for younger talent. We have the receivers for it. Yep. And like I said, you don't want to squander what you actually have. Right now, you're squandering it. And man, I put it like this. This is for all my people out there that's on the fence about Drew Brees. All right. This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do as a fan. All right. I want you to really think about this. Really take the time and think about this. Can you see the Saints going to the Super Bowl with Drew Brees? Like, are you like 100% sure that the New Orleans Saints will reach the Super Bowl with Drew Brees as your quarterback? Like, are you confident that if he was to come back for the 2021 season, that the Saints will be in the Super Bowl? And I feel like you need to base your logic around that question. Now, if you were to ask me, and I'm not trying to help you, this is just my humble opinion, he can't. Like, he can't, man. I'm sorry. He just cannot do it. He can't, man. Like, I'm serious. Like, I love him, respect him, but he can't. He just can't do it, man. Like, not the way that we want him to do it. Can Drew Brees make the right decisions in game? Yes. But I just can't see it, man. I'm not emphatically, I cannot say this without a shadow of a doubt. And because I can't say that, it's time to move on. To me. Okay? This isn't like we're talking about Taysom or Jameis or something like this. Look, we have to put Drew Brees in that category. We can't sit up here and say, oh, Drew Brees the GOAT. Oh, he a great player and this, that, and the third. Look, if Taysom was the quarterback for the Saints next season or Jameis the quarterback for the Saints next season, they don't reach the Super Bowl, like you have to say that is not, you don't have the same expectations for those guys as you do Drew. When Drew steps on the field, okay, it's Super Bowl or bust. When Drew Brees steps on the field, it's supposed to be a W. If the Saints lose, it's a shock. If Jameis is on the field or Taysom is on the field, it's in the air. Okay, so you cannot grade those two quarterbacks the same way you grade Drew Brees. I mean, it's just the truth. And you can't have it both ways. You can't be sitting up here getting mad when people don't announce or recognize Drew as a GOAT. And then on the top of that, make all these different excuses for him. No, it don't work like that. Okay? It don't work like that because we get mad when they make excuses for Mahomes. We get mad when they make excuses for Aaron Rodgers. We get mad when they make excuses for Tom Brady. So let's not be hypocrites here. Okay? If Drew Brees steps on the field, it's automatically Super Bowl or bust. So say to yourself, like, think about this. Really think about this. Are you confident that if Drew Brees was to make an announcement that I'm coming back again, that you are wholeheartedly sure that the Saints going to reach the Super Bowl? I am not. Okay? And at this particular time, Drew Brees is playing to reach that Super Bowl for a second time. So if he's not going to reach it or it's not, it's not in the realm of possibility, it's best for you to retire. Because the only thing right now you're doing when you don't reach the Super Bowl is tainting your legacy. It's sad how fast Brees got worse. Just last year, he looked like the MVP and was amazing. Well, look, I mean, in the month of December, what he had, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception, and then he got into the playoffs. And I don't know what the heck happened then. Okay, but I mean, that's just the way it goes, man. Like, 1 minute you playing all world. Like, I think about what Peyton Manning, right? Peyton Manning leads the Indianapolis Colts. He goes to the Denver Broncos. His first season, he beats Drew Brees' passing record. He sets the NFL record for most touchdowns in the season. They end up going to the Super Bowl, getting waxed by the Seattle Seahawks. And then the second year, I mean, he fell off a cliff. I mean, he totally fell off a cliff. And like Drew Brees, he was like, a game manager. He was managing the game. Like he would just, the balls look wobbly, you know what I'm saying? Like barely any air behind the ball, but they had like elite lights out defense to carry them against the Carolina Panthers, and they won. So in this particular situation, Drew was one of the main issues. You know what I'm saying? You can't throw interceptions, turn the ball over. Peyton Manning didn't have the arm strength anymore, but he wasn't turning the ball over. That's the issue. So, yeah. We should have been peeped at. Jameis has a big arm, though. I don't care about the arm, okay? I feel like arm strength is overrated, okay? That's what they want you to think. Arm strength is just for those writers to be all excited about, all right? They get all aroused by big quarterbacks with big arms. I don't care about that, man. I just care about efficiency. Like, you can have an okay arm as long as you're not turning the ball over and as long as you're not putting your team in a position for them to lose games. That's all I care about. Like, just get the ball where it needs to be. You ain't got to throw 60 yards off your back foot. You ain't got to have no-look passes. You ain't got to juke nobody out their shoes at the quarterback position. Just be efficient enough to get the ball down the field and don't put the ball into the other team's hands, okay? And when you do get the ball, do something with it, right? Like I think we get so hard. We get so hard up on big, big arms and throwing the ball down the field and arm talent. Like you sit around and you listen to enough of these shock jocks, they'll make you believe that any quarterback that don't throw the ball 60 yards is not a great quarterback. And like I said, I understand that we're spoiled right now by the arm talent of Patrick Mahomes and the arm talent of Aaron Rodgers and the elusiveness of a Lamar Jackson and the escapability of a Russell Wilson. But you don't need to have those things, in your entire arsenal in order for you to be an efficient quarterback. You don't need to be like that in order for you to be a winning quarterback. So I just feel like sometimes we become suckers to what these people be telling us and be prisoners of the moment. I just want a quarterback that is going to help this team win, that is going to get the ball where it needs to be in the hands of your playmakers and allow these guys to do the rest. That is what I want, okay? I don't care about a guy throwing the ball 60 yards on his knee. I don't care about a guy who can propose to his girlfriend and then throw the ball for a touchdown. Look, I don't care about that. All I care about is winning at this particular point. I'm tired. Like, I'm just being honest with you, Ed Nation. I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of this team underperforming year after year. I'm tired of watching this team be as talented as they've been in franchise history and them fall short. I'm sick and tired of watching teams that I know for a fact haven't done the things that the Saints have done to get to a particular point, and those teams get over a hump and the Saints don't. Like that really ticks me off as a fan, and it's frustrating. And quite frankly, I'm just tired of it. I don't care. Like I don't care if the Saints are a run-dominant team and they run their way into the Super Bowl. I don't care if the Saints are a defensive dominant team and they play elite lights out defense every game to get them to the Super Bowl. All I know is I just want the team to reach their full potential. And if you look at what they are up against this offseason, you have to say to yourself, they squandered the opportunity, okay? You had the 2017 draft, the best draft class in NFL history, and you couldn't do anything except win some regular season games, okay? Look, I'm not going to poo-poo on it, but at the same time, a lot of that stuff that they saying, it just lip service. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll say stuff like, oh, there's 32 teams in the league, 31 teams will be disappointed. But I tell you what, man, it feels much better for me to lose in the Super Bowl to know that I actually got there than me being a team that have all the potential to get there and don't make it. And it's just frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that hasn't been to the playoffs since 2007, get one quarterback and get a couple pieces, and the next thing you know, they're in a Super Bowl. Like, like we can talk about these guys all day, but that's embarrassing if you're a Saints fan. You know what I'm saying? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers aren't a better team than the Saints. They're not. Their organization isn't better run by, than the Saints organization is. But this team seems to find a way to get themselves to the Super Bowl. The San Francisco 49ers a couple of years ago, they were a train wreck. They hired Kyle Shanahan. They hired John Lynch as the GM. And next thing you know, they're formidable. And all the reason they weren't formidable this year It's because Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa, two of their best defensive players, weren't playing, and Jimmy Garoppolo was in and out of the lineup. I mean, injuries happen. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of watching teams emerge and they surpass the Saints. The Rams did the same exact thing. And you as a Saints fan, you ought to be frustrated with it too. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not, look, I am to a point where if it ain't working, then move on from it. Okay? Like I said, I love Drew Brees, but right now it's becoming a nostalgia act. Okay? I'm a big time wrestling fan. All right? This past weekend, a wrestler that hasn't wrestled in 11 years named Edge won the Royal Rumble. Edge is like 50 years old. Okay? It was nice to see Edge in the Royal Rumble. I remember Edge when I was a kid, those classic matches, and nostalgia is good. But when it comes to the football, look, it's best for you to move on a year too early than a year too late. And the writing was on the wall, Who Dat Nation. Look, for all those Drew Brees apologists out there, the writing was on the wall. And you don't want Drew Brees to go out like that. You don't want Drew Brees to go out like you know what I'm saying, like everybody just happy to see him go. Like you want to see him going out there playing okay. And you can be like, man, I'm going to miss that guy. You don't want the Boo Birds to be in full effect and be like, get him up out of here. Because Drew Brees deserves more than that. Drew Brees deserves better. Drew Brees deserves better than getting booed out the Superdome because don't make no mistake about it. People will do it. People will do it. So I don't want to see that. All I want these guys to do is to live up to their full potential. Thanks to that nation for the love. I checked in at the right time. Priest TJ. Myron says, do you think Drew would have played better without all the injuries? Probably so, but not that much better. I mean, he been up and down this entire season, man, if you look at it before the injury. The best thing Drew Brees did this entire season was the 2-minute drill. You can't touch him with that. Best 2-minute quarterback in the league. Say Drew had surgery on his shoulder and shows a healthier shoulder and puts him, say, 5 years younger or better just for giggles. Nah, I'll pass. I'm over the scenarios. I'm over the what ifs. Let's just move on, man. Like, let's just go ahead and go through these growing pains and find out what we need, man. Like, seriously. Like, I get it. You know, like a lot of us are afraid because we never seen prosperity outside of Drew Brees, maybe in little speckles, right? We seen the little speckles between Jeff Blake and Aaron Brooks, and Jeff Blake was the starting quarterback, gets hurt. Aaron Brooks come in, lead the Saints to the playoffs. Saints get their first playoff win. Look, look, we seen that, right? We seen the Dawn Patrol and the Saints elite defense make the playoffs. We seen little spurts of that, and I get it, right? I mean, we never seen this much, you know, success consistently being Saints fans, but it's time to move on, man. Like, for real, it's time to move on. Like, it's rather you're a Saints fan or you're not. It's rather you have faith in the organization or not. And this organization that is really, like, honestly, this organization is really structured for life outside of Drew Brees. Like, you think about this, man. Drew was hurt. Who was in the middle? The guy that is the focal point of this show, DeMario Davis. DeMario Davis was in the middle, man. Guys who talking to the media. You see Teron Armstead, captain. Malcolm Jenkins, captain. Cam Jordan, captain. DeMario Davis, captain. Like, it's almost to a point when DeMario Davis is in a circle, Drew Brees comes in after it becomes awkward. Like, it's like, you know, like I said, he's just a focal point. It's at this particular point, it's like Penn State and Joe Paterno. Like, that's what it's like, right? You know what I'm saying? Joe Paterno just basically was just the figurehead of Penn State towards the later years of his life. But it was the other people that was coaching the team. You know, like, he was just out there. He was riding around the golf cart, and he got so old to a point he couldn't even go down on the field. Like, that's what it was almost on, man. Like, you know, like Joe Paterno was the face of Penn State. Then you had all those coaches. You got all these players on the Saints team, and it's like Drew Brees is just the figurehead. And it's like it was awkward. Like, you see DeMario Davis come in and give this heartfelt speech, and all of a sudden, you know, Drew come in after him. Like, you know, like it's almost like that. Like I said, it's almost like that new teacher, right? That new teacher that comes in that's hip and fresh, and All of a sudden, in comes that teacher that's a classic teacher that everybody like and respect, but everybody eyes is on that fresh new teacher. That's what it's like. And when you get to that point, man, you just got to realize and say, it's time to move on. Time to move on. Said, damn, Ed's still at it. Yeah, he's still at it, man. Yeah, still at it. Dear God, no. Just go, Brees. We love you, but no, baby. TJ, do you think, in your opinion, we should be a team, give 2 first-round picks to get Carson Wentz as a starting quarterback next year?
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no.
Yeah, man. I ain't feeling that. Diedrich says Brees got records and a ring. He served his time in New Orleans. Time to retire, but I am shocked that Edge won the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I think a lot of people were. But I ain't gonna lie, when I first seen him come out, I was like, man, yeah, he gonna win. Father Time is undefeated. Brees needs to have a seat. Enjoy your family. Close the book. It's over. Hey, man, you already signed the contract with NBC. I want to see what you can do in the booth, man. Let's see what Drew Brees can do in the booth, man. Should he move on from older, more expensive players like Cam Jordan and Malcolm Jenkins? I think we should. If Cam Jordan had one more season like he did, I would say yes. Malcolm Jenkins, I would keep him. When you have a young secondary and guys that are on the cusp of reaching their full potential, you need that veteran leadership that can kind of push those guys, that can see the field the way that they see it, or help them to see the field the way they see it. So I feel like at this particular point, Malcolm Jenkins is necessary to the secondary. So no, not him. But if Cam Jordan had one more year like he did last year, it's time to move on for him to take a pay cut, one or the other. Like I said earlier, TJ, I'm not believing dude is retiring until I see the press conference. Fact, I hope he do. Me too. I hope he does too. You're right about that, buddy. Saints fans are 50-50. Drew Brees made it cool to say who that and put on Saints stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's true. But all things must come to an end, man. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Fonzie made it cool to wear a leather jacket, right? And put your thumbs up and say, hey. You know what I'm saying? He made that cool, right? You know what I'm saying? He made greasers cool, right? Those guys that slick their hair back, spit on a comb and slick it back. He made them cool, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, Steve Urkel made nerds cool, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, people do different things, but all things must come to an end, all right? People ain't walking around with leather jackets saying, hey, in 2021, are they? Right? You know what I'm saying? People ain't creating, you know what I'm saying, transformation chambers and pulling up their pants and saying, did I do that in 2021, are they? Like, it's time to move on, man. Like, he made it cool, but that don't mean that, just because he made it cool, like, we supposed to stick with him until we can't get nothing out of him no more. Like, it's time to move on. I mean, I respect Drew Brees. Drew Brees brought a lot of pride and dignity to the Saints organization. But even Moses gave up the staff and gave it to Aaron when the children of Israel reached the land of Canaan. When they reached the land of milk and honey, he passed the baton to Aaron and told Aaron to take the children of Israel to the land of milk and honey. All right? Like, it's time to pass the torch now. All right? For all my biblical people out there. Do you think we're going to keep Marcus Williams? I would keep Marcus Williams. I hope so, but we'll see. Jack Rabbit is a third-string cornerback, but was better than the other besides Lattimore. Jack Rabbit is definitely not a third string. I don't know where that comes from, Charles. He's definitely not a third-string cornerback. You can arguably say that Janoris Jenkins played in some games better than Lattimore. So, and he does some things better than Lattimore. So he definitely not a number 3 in my opinion. You want to know what a number 3 is? Look no further than P.J. Williams. That's a number 3. Patrick Robinson. I say Patrick Robinson number 3. P.J. is more like a 4. I'll be seeing you breathe in the boot next year. Thank you, Drew. Yeah. Keem Mogan getting a shout out from Jerry. We have very low standards. I don't know What do you mean by low standards? What you got to elaborate on that? Who that? OG says, "What's good, brother? What's going on, Chemo? We need to draft a cornerback and a linebacker." I agree with that. No argument there from me. Saints Life says, "Pre TJ, that's as real as it gets." TJ speaking a word. It was Joshua, not Aaron. Yeah, Joshua. My bad. Aaron is Moses' brother. Little rusty. You know what I'm saying? Little rusty. Check it out in Exodus, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, Joshua. Joshua led the children of Israel into the land of milk and honey. Aaron was Moses' brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying, though. You get it. When need to spend some money on a basketball team and get Zion some help, stand and hire Mark Jackson. They should have been hiring Mark Jackson. Mad love for Brees always. Who that nation for life. Go shine in the boot. Yeah. We love you, Drew, but it's time, fellas. Your statue coming soon outside the dome. Exactly. Joshua. Yeah, Joshua was the one that said it. I appreciate that. Good to know some people know that word, man. Good to know people know the Bible. I feel bad, though. I mean, you know, the grandson of a preacher and went to church every Sunday. I should have made sure that I actually knew that, but I know it now, you know what I'm saying? Like as I think about it. I say Aaron was Moses' brother. Joshua was the next one in charge, right? Joshua was one that led the children of Israel. They walked around in the wilderness for 400 years, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. Crazy stuff, man. Like, they made sure that all the people died out. Patrick Robinson had some good games when he was in. Yeah, he did. TJ, you ready for the swag to start this month? Will Coach Prime get JSU to shine? Thank you. I think you're going to see some promise this year. You're going to see what they really have next year. What y'all know about Edge? That's my guy. Well, yeah, I like Edge too. What about Colin Kaepernick? Nah, his time is past, man. His time is past. You know, and I don't even think that dude want to play football, to be honest with you. I mean, he's bigger than a game of football at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, what he did, it brought a lot of light to a lot of things that the NFL are recognizing. And unfortunately, he had to die in order for the NFL to become conscious of some of these things. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's over for him. TJ, what you think about picking up J.J. Watt? I would like that. But I would think that J.J. Watt would want to go to a team that he feels like that he definitely will have a chance at a Super Bowl. I think there's still some red flags with the Saints, even though they playoff contenders. I can see him possibly going to a team like maybe the 49ers, maybe the Rams or something like that. You know, the Rams getting Matthew Stafford makes them a little bit more appealing than the Saints. The 49ers being, you know, getting Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas back may be more appealing to him defensively. I think this guy just wants to go to a team where he knows for sure, you know, and it wouldn't surprise me if Tom Brady comes and he ends up playing for the Bucs. You know, they seem to be able to get a lot more players these days, so it wouldn't surprise me if he end up going there. Let me present DeMario, seeing him every day and know him more than we do. He may have a more informed opinion than we have. Well, there's no may about it. He definitely has a way more informed opinion. But I just feel like those guys know. I just feel like those guys know that he's going to there's a strong chance he was going to retire. I think he had that conversation with them. They will never tell us the things that they talk about inside that organization, man. We only get like the watered down and little trickles of what goes down. Blue Apples, thank you very much for the $2. Says, I just want the Saints to win a Super Bowl again. For real. That's where I'm at, Blue Apples. I can care less. I can care less how they do it. I just want them boys to win. DeMario was getting blasted on a certain platform for saying he wants to see Drew back. That's his opinion. I have no issue with it. Fans need to chill out. Well, I definitely don't feel like he need to get blasted. I disagree with what he said, but people just need to go sit down somewhere, man. Like, people have their opinions and they got their thoughts on it. And DeMario Davis, I mean, this guy has enough skins on the wall, and he's a captain of the Saints team. So if he feels like Drew needs to come back, that's his opinion. I'm not knocking him for that. Charles said Jack Rabbit didn't play down to wide receivers like Lattimore, but he was getting cooked when he played top receivers. What games was y'all watching? What games were you watching where he got cooked? Please tell me that. Please tell me some games where Jack Rabbit got cooked consistently. Please tell me that. Please tell me. And y'all, I mean, look, some of y'all got opinions about how, you know what I'm saying, about being cooked that I don't too much particularly agree with. Like, y'all definition of cook, if a guy is playing real good in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden on the 3rd and 5, the quarterback throw deep, and the wide receiver just so happened to be on that guy, and the dude catch the ball over the cornerback. Oh, you got cooked. Like, but what about the rest of the game? All right. I cannot say that I've seen Janoris Jenkins consistently in a game get cooked. Now, the only gripe that I would have on Janoris Jenkins is he had opportunities to catch an interception at least every game, at least once a game, and he don't come down with the football. I don't know. I'm sorry, Charles. Good, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, but I don't know what you were looking at. I mean, you got to show me. You got to show me where this guy was consistently getting cooked, because I ain't seeing what you saw. I ain't see it. What about Matt Ryan, Julio Jones with the Saints? They ain't going nowhere. They already said that. Head coach Arthur Smith said that you want to keep those guys around, so we'll be seeing them next year and still playing for the Falcons. Blue Apple, thank you very much for $2. Says I steal tires from old people's cars. That's horrible. That's horrible, man. I hope not. Man, I hope Breed does come back. Yeah, that's coming from an Eagles fan. Now we need to forget about trying to sign these veterans and look forward to drafting what we need. Draft some young guys on defense. I agree with that. That's how you build your team through the draft. You don't build your team through free agency. You just don't. Take it to church, buy and buy. Oh, buy and buy. Jared Poy, yeah, me too. My little brother, a diehard Chiefs fan, so I'm rolling with Kansas City. Yeah, man, I think a lot of Saints fans are rolling with Kansas City. Belinda says, hey, fam, I think the organization has a lot of work to do this offseason. Real talk. That's an understatement, Belinda, but I think they'll get it done. We've seen this before. But they need a good, solid draft, though. They need a good, solid draft also. The Brood was a horrible tag team. Dudley Boys for life. Nah, the Brood was a really good faction, man. I mean, you had to love their entrance, you know, coming up out the floor through the flames, you know. I mean, but it helped. It helped Edge and Christian, man, become a solid tag team, so got something out of it. Jack Rabbit is a great quality corner for his age. He struggles at times with those shifty receivers, but he outplayed Lattimore throughout most of the season. I mean, most of those real fast, over the top, double move wide receivers, yeah. But I tell you what, man, this guy drew Adam Thielen in a game on Christmas. Didn't really do too much of nothing. Justin Jefferson didn't do too much of nothing, right? Antonio Brown, when he guarded him the first and the second time, didn't do nothing. Okay, like let's put this into perspective here. I can only think of maybe one game in which I just seen Janoris Jenkins had a rough game, and that was maybe against Las Vegas. That was it. Besides that, dude been pretty solid throughout the season. Like, you cannot just look at one play where a guy catches a long pass on a corner and just say, oh, he having a bad game. Like, give me a break with that, man. Like, y'all make it seem like these wide receivers don't get paid to catch these passes. Like, y'all act as if, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, if a dude ain't shutting down the entire field every game, like, he sucks. Like, everybody cannot beat Darrelle Revis. Everybody can't beat Richard Sherman, Deion Sanders. Everybody can't be doing what Jalen Ramsey is doing out there. And even he got cooked by Devontae Adams. So what is we talking about here? Like, I just think that we have this misconception about what corners are. And like I said, we become suckers to what the media tells us, right? You know what I'm saying? You got Darrelle Revis get on here and say, I'm the best cornerback in the league. You got Richard Sherman comes out there saying I'm the best cornerback in the league, and we look for guys to like go out there and prove them wrong, and they might shut a guy down and be like, oh yeah, okay, that's what we need. And if a guy not doing that, then all of a sudden they not good. But everybody can't be those guys. You're going to get beat on plays. That's a fact. Like, that don't mean that you bad. It just means that those teams have really good receivers. Like, you look at somebody like Calvin Ridley, and Julio Jones. Man, they getting smoked. Like, this is Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. If a guy catch a pass, you know what I'm saying? Like, if Antonio Brown catch a pass, or Mike Evans catch a pass, or Chris Godwin catch a pass, or Odell Beckham Jr. catch a pass, is it really bad? These guys are elite receivers. They're elite receivers. And you know what I'm saying? Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. But just because if a guy catch a pass on somebody don't mean a guy has a bad game. We need to get away from that. Like, I wonder how we evaluate cornerback play, because I just want to see what you all are seeing. Like, I don't know if you just pay attention. A guy throws the ball deep in a wide receiver catch, and all of a sudden, man, he getting smoked. Like, huh? Like, what happened in the first 3 quarters? You know what I'm saying? If a guy has one catch for 54 yards and he catches the ball for 54 yards, did the cornerback have a bad game? Like, how are we evaluating this? I want to know. How the hell are we evaluating cornerback play? Everybody had a bad game in the Raiders game. Waller was going off. Exactly. Brees will do nothing but choke again if he comes back. I hate to say it, bro, but you're right. Saints need to have a very good draft this season to help offset any losses we have in free agency. The undrafted class each season usually brings few players to make the roster. Yeah, they need to replicate something close to the 2017 draft, but that's going to be hard to do. So the reason why that draft is looked at as one of the best draft class of all time. Jack Rabbit did play better than Lattimore this season. I give him that. Okay, but look, Lattimore probably had his best season since his rookie season this year. So those guys were good, man. Like, that was probably their best. Like, for a while, those guys were one of the best 1-2 punches in football. Seriously, they were like the best 1-2 tandem of cornerbacks in the NFL. You know, I mean, you can say Lattimore probably played with more inspired because he's in a contract year. I'll take it. You know, but I like both of them. You know what I'm saying? I think they need to find a way to keep both of those guys. Gigatist says, State of the Saints podcast, per league source, the Saints have renegotiated Drew Brees' contract to open up nearly $24 million in cap space for 2021. Okay, I'll take a look at that. What else could he have said? They should have asked about Jameis. Bro, the Saints should get RG3. I already said that. I said that I feel like if the Saints were to have Jameis as a starter, RG3 as a second string, Taysom as his Swiss Army knife role, I think the Saints would be all right. Lattimore is a beast, and I'm a Falcon fan. Yeah, Lattimore is really good, man. I just think Lattimore's issue is being, consistent, and he said it himself, so I don't feel bad for saying that about him. I just feel like he's like that kid that's that gets like easily distracted sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just needs to stay focused. He's the Paxton of the New Orleans Saints, okay? Like, Paxton, man, you got to tell Paxton to focus, right? When Paxton is focused, he's fine. But when he starts like drifting off, you know what I'm saying, you find yourself chasing them around, and it can be a rough day for you as a parent. I am confident we have a much better shot with Brees. If he stays healthy, we do reach the Super Bowl. Be real, the injuries killed us. No can play 100 when hurt. Man, it's over, bro. It is over with. It is over, okay? Look, let's stop making excuses for Drew Brees. And, if Drew was hurt, if Drew wasn't hurt, man, look, it's over, bro. Like, it's over. All right, I'm tired of like us parading Drew Brees out there on the field and making these excuses, man. Like, Drew, it used to be a point where Drew can actually make up for the shortcomings of the Saints, and I feel like that's one of the main reasons why the Saints feel like they forever indebted to him. But it's over. All right. Look, I don't want to see Drew Brees no more in the Saints uniform. Not because I don't feel like he can be formidable. I just feel like I don't want to see Drew Brees being inconsistent. All right. You save that for the people like the Ryan Fitzpatricks of the world. Guys that can play all world one game and look like straight slaughter next. Look, if Drew Brees can't do what Drew Brees has done over his years and make up and how we have fell in love with him by being consistent, giving us consistent quarterback play, then I don't want to see that, man. I don't want to see it. Let's see. Y'all folks stay capping, giving excuses for Drew. Time to move on. The second person just said this about Drew. Saints just renegotiated Brees' contract for to free $24 million in cap this season. Okay. I see. All right. That don't mean nothing though. It probably just means that they go give him all his money up front. You know what I'm saying? That's all that means. They're just gonna give him his money right then and there. If Brees wasn't hurt, maybe he throws two interceptions instead of 3. Pretty much. Drew Brees is a glorified Alex Smith at this point. Whoa. Yeah, that's a little bit much. When the next man up is Jameis Winston. People keep calling Winston an interception machine, but Drew had 9 seasons with 15 or more interceptions. Stop it with the media hype. Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, that's what Matt Moscona said on after further review. Good point. Jared says freeing up almost $24 million in cap space. Awesome. Pretty much says a lot to me. It says a lot to me about that most likely he is going to retire. TJ, I am in the mood to watch an old fight tonight that I ain't seen before. Can you recommend one? I'm already seeing all the Ali, Tyson, and Holm fight. Oh, man, you talk about an old fight. I don't know if you've seen this. The greatest boxing match of all time, all right? You know what I'm saying? Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward. I'm telling you right now. The first fight, all right, they fought 3 times. Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward won. That is the greatest fight of all time. I don't care. You can talk. Look, I know I got some boxing fans here on the State of the Saints podcast. I know Simba is a boxing fan. Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward won. It's the greatest boxing match of all time. You don't believe me? Don't be like, man, TJ, you tripping. Bruh, watch the fight. For all those out there, I don't care if you're not a boxing fan. Watch Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward won. The greatest boxing match of all time, in my opinion. Arturo Gatti dead. Yeah, he definitely passed away. I'd rather him make his announcement after the Super Bowl so he can enjoy his retirement celebration. That's all that's about. You know, telling you. Mickey Ward, exactly. Mickey Ward is the best fight of all time. I cannot gas that up enough, folks. I cannot gas that up enough. Y'all gonna make me pull up that fight so y'all, you know what I'm saying, round 9 so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Y'all about to make me do it, man. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can pull that up real quick. I don't care if I do get demonetized for this. I'm gonna have to show y'all this. I'm gonna have to show y'all this. I'm gonna have to pull this up. Man, so y'all can see this. All right. This for anybody. I don't care if you're a casual fan. I don't care if you never seen a boxing match in your life. If I had to choose and be like, look, there's one fight that I want people to see. There's one fight that, you know, I will, make a person fall in love with boxing. this would be it. I'm gonna try to see if I can try to find it so everybody can check it out. I'm pulling it up right now. I don't care if I do get demonetized for it, because I feel like it's times where you have to, like, you know, take a stand, and this is it. Yeah, but this is one of the most amazing. It's one of the most amazing things ever, in my opinion. Try to see if I can find it. I'll try to see if I can pull it up for you guys. But anyway, in the process, try to see. Still trying to pull it up. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to download it so I can show y'all what I'm talking about here. But like I said, it was just two guys. I mean, it wasn't like a well touted, well celebrated fight, right? It was what they call HBO After Dark, right? And it was just kind of like filler. And Arturo Gatti was a guy that they were trying to build up, and they needed to give him like some type of, give him an opponent to fight. And so they ended up, selecting Mickey Ward as his opponent. And Mickey Ward was like kind of like a poor man's, fighter, whatever like that, a journeyman. And they put him in a ring with Arturo Gatti, and they thought they were just going to kind of, feed the guy to Arturo. And they were sadly mistaken that night. They were tripping. All right, so because they thought like it was just going to be an easy night for him, but it turned into like one of the greatest fights of all time. And that's just kind of how it happened. Another fight that I like is Terrence Crawford versus Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all probably know who Terrence Bud Crawford is. Like he's one of the top fighters in the world right now. And, so yeah, he's probably one of my favorite fighters out right now, Terrence Crawford. We did it, but we can win without Drew. I agree with that. I do agree that we can win without Drew Brees. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I feel like we can win without Drew Brees. And, I mean, we already seen it. I mean, we seen it with Teddy Bridgewater, right? I mean, we seen that we can win, with Taysom Hill. So, I mean, this team, like, it used to be a time if this was the case, I'd be scared to death. Like, I would literally be scared to death. I'd be like, man, no way in the world we can win no games, without Drew. But now it's like, I've seen it done. I've seen the Saints win without Drew. So I'm comfortable with it. And I just feel like guys are going to take it upon themselves to play better. Because anytime Drew was out of the lineup, we seen the Saints defense step up. We seen players take it upon themselves to try to play better, play tougher, be more physical. And, I just feel like when Drew is in the lineup, he handicaps a lot of guys. Because these guys, I don't know what it is. It's like, oh, Drew out here, so we good now. But when Drew's playing, when Drew's playing, then all of a sudden, like, dudes act like they forget how to play defense. Like they forget how to play, football in general. And I don't know, man. I just feel like he handicaps a lot of guys because these guys, like, they just don't step it up the way that they once did. TJ, are you a fan of Errol Spence Jr.? Yeah, I like Errol Spence. I want to see him and Terrence Crawford fight each other. I want to see him and Terrence Crawford fight one another. They need to stop playing, and that's one of the things that I'm tired of when it comes to boxing, or the politics. I'm tired of the politics of boxing. Like, I feel like it needs to be like UFC. Like, the best gonna fight the best. Okay, Dana White gonna do his best to try to make sure that guys fight the best fighters. Right? Like, if he's gonna make sure that whoever is the main contender, like, like whoever the man, you know what I'm saying, like the main contender is in each class, he gonna make sure that they fight each other, right? He gonna make sure that they fight each other, and I got a respect for that. But when it comes to like boxing, you got these promoters who basically like, oh, I got my stable of fighters, and you know, Al Heyman got his stable of fighters, and you know, like I just feel like that's crippling the boxing world. Like that's crippling it. You know, that you don't allow the best of the best, the creme de la creme, to fight each other. So hopefully they can find a way to get those two guys in the ring with one another. I think that's the fight that everybody wants to see. Well, you know what I'm saying? I'm having issues pulling it up, folks. So I apologize. But check it out. It's on YouTube, man. Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti, round number 9. Please check it out. I'm going to try one more time, try to see if I can pull it up. I'm trying to download it so, you know what I'm saying, I can actually put it in there so y'all can see it. But if I can't do it, then, like I said, feel free to, you know what I'm saying, feel free to check it out and, you know what I'm saying, see for yourself what I'm talking about here. Well, can't seem to find it, but Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti, round number 9. Check it out. Okay, Josh said he found it. Okay, Josh said he found it on YouTube. Yeah, check it out. What's up, TJ? I just got here. Don't end the show yet. Yeah, we probably going to be ending the show soon, man. This is going to be in the show soon. Carmella and Sasha Banks was enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, I'm not really, I watch wrestling now, but I'm definitely not a fan of the way your wrestling is now versus what it was when I was young. That's why I don't respect Floyd. I used to respect Floyd, but Floyd understands the money game now, you know, and he's put himself in a position where he can kind of control the narrative of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like he pulled the strings. Like when you think about it, I mean, you got to give some respect to Floyd Money Mayweather because what he spent like $750,000 buying himself out of his contract with Al Heyman. You know, no, not with Al Heyman. Man, who's the boxing promoter? Who I'm thinking about? Not Al Heyman. He owns Top Rank. Who am I talking about, folks? Anybody that's a boxing fan, he owns Top Rank right now, and I cannot believe I don't know this guy's name. Pulling it up right now. I cannot believe I don't know. I can't think of this guy's name. Bob Arum. Yeah, that's it. Bob Arum. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, Bob Arum. He bought himself out away from Bob Arum. And yeah, man. So I mean, you got to give him some respect in that regard that he bought himself out of his contract. Edge played Roman tonight. I think they're gonna wrestle at WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, wrestling's so twisted now, like with Roman Reigns' storyline with Paul Heyman. I actually like Roman Reigns now. And for all those, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, feel free after the end of this show. We're gonna I'm gonna be going live, man, on the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast. So all my wrestling fans out there, you might want to check it out, man, because right after this show, I'm about to do the wrestling show of the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast. So we're gonna be talking about Owen Hart on there, and like, feel free to come over, man. You know, we talk about it then because I'm definitely about to do the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast. Like I said, man, I've been ripping and running all day, so I'm about to record the wrestling podcast soon. Is the home shaper fight in your top 10? No, Josh, no, it's not, man, and not because it wasn't a good fight. It's because I was too young to have an appreciation for it. I was too young to have an appreciation for how good those guys were. And I know we kind of drifted off, folks, you know, but we are recording live on the State of the Game podcast too. So anyway, yeah, I'm like, you know, that's not in my top because I really didn't have appreciation for that. I was like, you know, I was watching boxing and had appreciation for it like around the time when Mike Tyson was running wild, because my grandfather is a huge boxing fan and he used to order all the fights. So when Lennox Lewis was the world heavyweight champion, that's when I like kind of started getting into boxing. Right before, you know what I'm saying, when the heavyweight division was like red hot, and then like when I was a teenager, that's when the welterweight division was you know what I'm saying, was on point. When you had people like Oscar De La Hoya, you had people like Floyd Money Mayweather, you had people like Felix Trinidad, and you know what I'm saying, people like that. You know what I'm saying, Tito Trinidad was one of my favorite boxers, man. Also Zab Judah, Sugar Shane Mosley, Vernon Forrest, like guys like that. All right, that's when I started to really have an appreciation for boxing. The heavyweight division is trash right now. Yeah, basically, you know what I'm saying? For the exception of Tyson Fury, which this might shock a lot of people, but I like Tyson Fury better than I like Deontay Wilder, man. Tyson Fury is a special fighter, man, for a guy to be that big and can move that fast. And I don't think it was a mistake that he beat Deontay Wilder, man. He's just better than him, in my opinion. I'm not a real big fan of Anthony Joshua. I think he's just a muscle-up, soft guy. And, you know, let's see. It was before I was born, but still, I've seen all the fights from the 70s. Yeah, I mean, I seen a Thriller in Manila, Josh. Now, I seen George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali. You know, that's where the whole birth of the rope-a-dope came in. You know, because you know, everybody was so afraid that Muhammad Ali was going to die in the ring because of George Foreman. I mean, it basically said he had cement in his gloves, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he was supposed, like the plan was for Muhammad Ali to fight Joe Frazier for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Joe Frazier ended up losing to George Foreman, which set up the match in Manila versus Muhammad Ali. So, but I definitely seen it. I can tell you something about boxing, boy. That's right up my alley right there. You know, I'm definitely a big boxing fan. What's up, everyone? I'm new to this podcast. Glad I found it. Really liking it. Russ, thank you so much, man. Y'all give a shout out to Russ in the chat. Welcome, man. Like we talk about Saints football, but we're the most interactive Saints podcast on YouTube or any other outlet. So we can start off talking about the DeMario Davis comments and might end up talking about the Thriller in Manila. You know, you never know, okay? Tyson Fury has those loaded gloves. I disagree with that, Saints because he's not a really big hard hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very strategic. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very strategic, and he's a you know what I'm saying, a shifty fighter. Like he's not even really known for his power. Holyfield, one of the best ever. Yeah, Holyfield definitely one of the best fighters ever. I will give you that. Waiting on TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast, wrestling fans, peep it out. I appreciate that, Damon. Yeah, like I said, right after the show, y'all come over to the TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast, man, for all my wrestling fans out there. If you're not a wrestling fan, I completely understand. But like I said, all my podcasts are passion driven. It's all like what you get out of my podcast are pieces of me. Okay. Like I love wrestling. I love sports in general. And you know what I'm saying? I love Saints football. So I make podcasts around things that I'm passionate about. So I can feel good about getting behind the mic and talking about it. TJ Shows is by far the best Saints content out there. Well, I appreciate that, man. I mean, there's some great Saints content out there. Big fans of all the podcasts, all the guys out there. But, you know, I appreciate that. I really do. In his prime, Mike Tyson was untouchable. He was knocking fools through the ropes by round 3. Yeah, Bobby. You know, when he had when Customato had him, the only thing that hurt Mike Tyson was the fact that Customato was so old when Mike was so young. I feel like if Cus probably was in his 60s instead of like almost, you know what I'm saying, in his 90s, then, you know what I'm saying, I feel like Mike Tyson's career could have been salvaged and he probably would have been the greatest heavyweight of all time. But once Cus died and he started to get with Don King, you know, Don King is nothing but a leech. You know, he tries to get everything he can out of a guy and fleece them for everything that they have. And I just feel like that hurt Mike Tyson. And everybody just wanted their hands on him, from Don King to Robin Givens, from people, you know what I'm saying, like Tony Atlas, guys just were trying to use him for everything that he had, man, to milk him dry. But definitely, Mike Tyson was the best fighter in the world. Fury is a bad boy. I want to see Fury and Wilder too. Yeah, you know, Wilder just have to come to grips that Fury is better than him. Like, I like Wilder, but I just feel like Wilder just started to believe his own hype. Like, he was never a good fighter. He's very unorthodox. He's like a barroom fighter, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what Deontay is. Deontay is like a barroom fighter. He's a guy like, meet me outside the club, let's fight. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna wow you with his technical skills. He not gonna wow you with his footwork. He got that one hitter quitter. And what makes it more impressive is the fact that how skinny he is. He looks like a basketball player boxing. But he they call it the right hand of God. He definitely has that. He came back number 29 at the Royal Rumble. He's talking about Seth Rollins. Now it was number 28, if I ain't mistaken. 28 or 29. TJ, you think Brees coming back for real? Do I think Brees coming back?
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no.
Josh says Fury might be the best white boxer ever, next to Tommy Morrison. Well, look, well, you got to put Rocky Marciano in there. Rocky Marciano never lost a fight, right? You can say that there's some controversy behind that because he had mob ties. And the mob was like, maybe, you know what I'm saying, if you beat Rocky Marciano, you might go swimming with the fishes. But I think Rocky Marciano probably owns that title, man. But like, I hate just putting colors on things. I really do, man. Like, even like when it comes to black, like I look at Tyson Fury as one of the best boxers of all time, right? Now, if we want to talk about his color, yeah, that's a bad white boy. You know what I'm saying? But I like him, man. I just like Tyson Fury. First off, you cannot like look at an interview with this guy and not like him. Like, and the thing about it is, you can kind of read a phony a mile away, right? If a person is phony, you can be like, man, that dude fake. But this dude is like a real genuine dude, and you find yourself like, you might want Deontay Wilder to win, but you leave an interview, leave like a video rooting for Tyson Fury. I mean, that guy has a fan in me, like, no matter what. Like, he definitely has emerged as one of my favorite modern day fighters. Terrence Crawford is my favorite fighter right now, though, hands down. TJ, you think we should cut Taysom Hill to save money and then bring back the Tommy Stevens kid?
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no.
That's disrespectful. Marshawn Lattimore, the best cornerback in the game. Brees wouldn't shock me on the return. It's the competitor in him. Well, look. Well, there was somebody got to step in and say, man, Drew, we got to go in another direction. And if Tampa D-backs are allowed to hold the receivers like they have in the playoff, it will be a long day for KC. Yeah, they're going to let them play. They definitely going to let them play. And they should. Like, they should, man. Like I'm not going to even knock them for that, okay? I appreciate the fact that they're allowing these guys to play. I have no problem with that. No qualms with that at all, okay? And that's the way I feel like the Saints were, you know what I'm saying? That's when they had the advantage, to be honest with you, because who was the most penalized team when it comes to the secondary in the NFL? It was the Saints. So allowing the New Orleans Saints to, you know what I'm saying, like, play Saints football, it gave them a better chance to win. The Saints just didn't get the job done. Gonna read a few more and then we out, man. I need to see a game in New Orleans before he retires. Well, might be out of luck, man. Might be out of luck. Might be pretty much over for him. And no, there may be 10 white boxers in the last 40 years that were legit contenders. Yeah, I think Rocky Marciano is the best, though. Love Sam Mills, such a smart player. Yeah, I think a lot of people love Sam Mills, one of the best Saints of all time. And we'll end with Tyra. Tyra says, hey, Drew can come back, that's fine, but he better be wearing a suit on the sidelines. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Look, man, we enjoy Drew Brees. Thank you for the memories, but just think that it's time to go in a different direction. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for your time. Right now, we're about to transition over to the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast, man. Come on over, will you? Okay, if you're a wrestling fan, you like wrestling, you follow professional wrestling at one time, come on over, man. The focal point on the show is going to be about Owen Hart, the late great Owen Hart. Some of you probably know who Owen Hart is. He's the brother of Bret the Hitman Hart. Lost his life tragically in a stunt that was taking place at a pay-per-view. We're gonna focus on him and talk about some of his classic matches, and I'm gonna get my thoughts about that. And also feel free to answer any questions that you may have about modern day wrestling. All right, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. Also, facebook.com, search The State of the Saints Podcast. Previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. And if you're interested in the TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast, all you got to do is go to youtube.com, search TJ Knows Wrestling. All right, TJ Knows Wrestling. All right, thank you all so much. Look forward to talking to you all this weekend. I'll let you all know tomorrow if we're going to have a live Super Bowl, State of the Saints podcast. That's right. I'm really thinking about this. I'm really thinking about it. And if I get enough participation, it might happen. Okay. We might go live throughout the Super Bowl. I don't know what y'all think about that. What do y'all think about going live throughout the Super Bowl? Watching the Super Bowl together, talking about it. I think it's possible. I think we can do it. Now, if you all are interested in it, let me know. If you be interested in, the Buccaneers versus Kansas City Chiefs and having a live reaction show, feel free. But definitely want to talk about that game immediately following it. So if you want to go live, just let me know. I'll let you all know tomorrow what my definite answer is. Got to take it up with my wife, because she might think that I lost my mind. All right, so. But if I get enough participation, man, we might go live, man. We might go live. I mean, it's the last game of the official, the last game of the official 2020 season. So, why not make it exciting? All right. But thank you all so much. Moving on to the TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast. And like always, all I got to say is,